Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about MapReduce, which is a very important technique these days given the amount of data that we have. So let's begin. What is MapReduce? MapReduce is a programming technique which is used to process large data sets on multiple computers in parallel. These computers, which we also call as nodes. It was developed in 2004 and is based on the paper MapReduce Simplified Data Processing on Large Clusters, which was published by Google. Why do we need MapReduce? Well, we need it because the traditional computing techniques could not handle these large amounts of data. When I say large amounts of data, I'm talking about data which is terabytes in size. For example, the volume of data which is generated by Facebook or Google, it cannot be processed and managed on a single computer. So what was the solution to that? Multiple processing this data in parallel on multiple computers. But it's not that simple. We can't just put together multiple computers and feed the data to be processed into it. There has to be a strategy to divide the data into smaller chunks and to divide the processing of this data in such a way so that it could be done in parallel on multiple computers. So that is where the MapReduce helps us. How does MapReduce work? The MapReduce works in two different phases, the map phase and the reduce phase. The map phase is performed by the mapper function. It takes the key value pairs as inputs, processes them, and produces outputs, which are again key value pairs. A key value pair is actually the basic unit of information which is produced or processed by a MapReduce. Reduce function is a combination of shuffle and reduce tasks and is performed by reducer. The reducer also takes key value pairs, processes them, and generates the output. Next, let's look at this diagram to understand the different phases of MapReduce and some intermediate phases that are involved in it. Here, for example, I've taken two data sets, dataset A and dataset B, dataset A which has 3 pages and dataset B which has 2 pages. So here, each chunk of data, in this case, each page of data is fed into an individual mapper. This mapper, each individual mapper, which sits on an individual node. The data is fed into the mapper function. The mapper function then processes this data to generate the key value pairs. These key value pairs coming out of this phase are then fed into the shuffle and sort. The shuffle and sort phase sorts the data based on the keys and shuffle them around to group together the data with similar keys. The output from the shuffle and sort is fed into the reducer. The reducer combines the data based on the keys to then generate the final output. To understand the MapReduce better, let's look at a very famous and a very basic example, the word counter. What is a word counter? It's a program that calculates the number of times a word occurs in a given input. So let's go through it. The first step is the input step. Here I'm inputting one document with 3 lines where each line has 3 words in it, a very small document. But in reality, this document could have millions of pages and there could be billions of words in each page. The next phase is splitting. I split my data into smaller chunks. In this case, my one chunk is 1 line. This data is then fed into the mapping phase. The mapping phase generates the key value pairs. The key is the word and the value is the count. The output from the mapping phase is then put to shuffling and sorting. In the shuffling and sorting phase, the data is sorted based on the keys. Here, it's sorted alphabetically based on the key and is shuffled around to group the data with similar key in one chunk. Next is the reducing, where the data with similar key is combined to produce the final output. So here is MapReduce helping us to do the word count. Thank you. That's all from my side, and I hope this was helpful.